The WNBA has officially approved a strike vote, and an unbelievable 98% said yes. And the timing? It could not be worse. Right now, when Caitlin Clark is publicly begging for unity, pushing to protect the league's rising momentum, and telling everyone to move forward together, the veterans are doing the exact opposite. Instead of embracing the growth, some voices inside the league are mocking new fans, rejecting expansion, and acting like progress is a threat instead of the biggest opportunity they've ever had. No filters, no soft language. This is the breaking point. Enough is enough.
WNBA has got full power on calling a strike. Authorization from the WNBA players. WNBA statement regarding strike authorization vote. They had a vote, all right? The players had a vote, and they said basically that the WNBA can literally call a strike whenever they feel it's necessary.
What we're watching in women's basketball right now isn't controversy. It's self-inflicted destruction. And I'm about to break down exactly who's choking the golden goose while pretending they're protecting it. Let's set the stage. It's December 2025. The WNBA is coming off the greatest season in league history. Record-shattering viewership, packed arenas every single night, sponsors throwing money at the league, Team USA camp wrapping up with more hype than ever. Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, Angel Reese on the same floor, thriving, showing the world exactly what the future looks like. For the first time in years, everything was aligned. The momentum was real. The optimism was undeniable. And then, out of nowhere, a podcast clip exploded online. Not because it offered insight, not because it helped the game, but because it talked down to the same wave of new fans who fueled this historic rise. Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe, joined by Katie Nolan, sat down to discuss the league's growing pains. Fine, that's an important conversation. But here's where everything went off the rails. They didn't promote the thoughtful part. They didn't highlight anything meaningful. Instead, they handpicked the most dismissive, most condescending, most inflammatory moment from the entire discussion and blasted that onto social media to drive engagement. This wasn't taken out of context. This was the context. They wanted outrage. They wanted reactions. And they knew exactly what they were doing.
Why we're still bringing up a toxic fan base. I thought it was so condescending to say that so many fans are just latching on to Caitlin Clark for reasons other than the basketball. And that is something that we just continue to see. And it was also crazy because Katie Nolan at the end of this whole bit, she was like, yeah, I don't really watch that many games, but I'm keeping tabs on it. And it's like, that's the reason you had the take that you did. The reason that you had the take that you did is because you're not watching the games. You're not watching what's going on. You're not going to the games. And you clearly said that. You said, I'm a casual fan. I don't really watch the games, but I keep tabs on what's going on.
So what message did they decide to blast across the internet? That the massive wave of new WNBA fans isn't about basketball. That people are only watching because of Caitlin Clark, and for reasons that supposedly have nothing to do with her skill, her work, or her impact on the game. They framed these new fans as toxic, as if they're only here to tear down every veteran who came before her. They didn't embrace the growth. They dismissed it. And here's the part that really exposes the whole thing. Katie Nolan flat out admitted she doesn't even watch the games. Not casually, not occasionally at all. By her own words, she's a spectator from the outside, someone scrolling headlines and reacting to secondhand drama rather than actual basketball. ET somehow. That's the voice chosen to lecture millions of new fans? That's what made the clip blow up. Not honesty, but hypocrisy.
So to single out, once again, like I said, in 2025, to target a group of fans felt like was very condescending. There was another point in the podcast where Sue Bird said that all of these new fans that came here, they immediately said that all of the players who came before Caitlin were trash. And that's just not true.
But think about how insane that is for a second. Someone who doesn't even watch women's basketball is suddenly policing who counts as a real fan. She's lecturing diehards in Germany who set alarms for 2 a.m. just to watch Indiana Fever games live. She's criticizing people who can't even name half the starters in the league, yet feel entitled to scold the very fans who helped drive 300% attendance growth, record ratings, and sold-out arenas. In what world does the least informed voice get to invalidate the most passionate audience the league has ever had?
I also feel so bad for Caitlin Clark because she's gotten to the level of popularity where people have just dehumanized her.
The nerve of it all is unbelievable, and somehow, it keeps getting worse. Because here's the detail almost nobody wants to admit. The WNBA Players Association has officially given its executive committee unlimited power to call a strike whenever they want. Read that again. No limits, no restrictions, no conditions. 93% of players voted. 98% approved. Only 2% dissented. And I'd bet real money Caitlin Clark was in that tiny minority. Why? Because she's the only one saying what actually makes sense. The league must play next season. Momentum cannot be stopped. Progress requires compromise. That's not controversial. That's basic logic. But somehow, logic is now treated like betrayal. Instead, the WNBPA's most reckless voices, the same ones who have been combative and divisive online for months, now hold the nuclear button. They can blow up an entire season on impulse. And I don't think people truly understand what that means. This is happening at the exact moment the WNBA finally broke into the mainstream. Casual fans are tuning in. Corporate money is pouring in. Ratings are rising. Arenas are filled. And all eyes are on women's basketball. And now, the league is one bad decision away from setting everything on fire. Are players right to want better pay? Yes. Better travel? Absolutely. Stronger marketing? Long overdue. But none of that survives a shutdown. No games, no viewers, no revenue, nothing to negotiate over. And here's the uncomfortable part that WNBA media refuses to say out loud. The loudest critics of new fans are often the same people who weren't watching when the audience was tiny. The analysts who complain that Caitlin Clark gets too much coverage, they disappear the second she's not in the headline. The podcasters acting like gatekeepers, most aren't even watching the actual games. Duncan said the quiet part out loud. She claimed Caitlin Clark's fan base drains the fun from the league because before Clark arrived, media had more variety and freedom. My response is simple: go cover it. Want to highlight Aya Wilson's MVP dominance? Do it. Want to spotlight Breanna Stewart? Go ahead. Want to break down Sabrina Ionescu's game? No one is stopping you. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. Those segments don't pull numbers. Those posts don't travel. Those discussions don't go viral. Caitlin Clark does. So they use her name for clicks. And then blame the fans who show up. That's not criticism. That's resentment. Journalists built their platforms off her visibility. And now they're angry that the audience followed. Here's a perfect example. A thoughtful, well-written article about Aya Wilson. And buried inside it is a cheap, unnecessary jab at Caitlin Clark from a writer who praised her last season. Why was that line there? It added nothing. It didn't elevate Wilson. It didn't help the story. But it did one thing perfectly. It generated engagement. This is the new incentive structure. Caitlin Clark has been reduced to a traffic engine, not a human being, not a 23-year-old athlete dealing with injuries, pressure, and real safety concerns. Just a content machine. And somehow, she handles all of it with more composure than anyone should be expected to. She shows up. She competes. She absorbs the chaos and gets rewarded with more commentary attacking her fans. And then things get even worse. The Indiana Fever released their 2026 team calendar, and Caitlin Clark was nowhere to be found. Not featured, not referenced, completely absent. Fans went nuclear, rightfully. But honestly, it was probably something simple: image rights, contracts, marketing approvals. Most likely not a deliberate slight. The real issue is what the reaction reveals. Fans now expect disrespect so often that even a calendar feels like an attack. That's not normal, and it's definitely not sustainable. Meanwhile, that strike authorization is still sitting on the table. Talks stall, tension rises. Someone eventually pulls the trigger. And just like that, the season is gone. Years of momentum erased overnight. Casual fans, gone. Sponsors, out instantly. Mainstream attention, back to niche levels. Everything reverts to 2023, or worse. And the cruel irony? The biggest losers won't be the loudest voices. It'll be the rookies, the rising stars, the players who finally had a spotlight. Their moment disappears, not because they failed, but because others squandered opportunity. Let me be clear. Fair pay matters. Player rights matter. Better conditions matter. But reckless decision-making at the peak of momentum? That's sabotage. And what makes no sense at all is waging war on your own audience. Fan-shaming podcasts. Hit pieces that take subtle shots at the league's biggest draw. Media personalities who prefer outrage over analysis. Everyone involved knows the damage they're doing. They see the risk, but they keep going because outrage trends, drama sells, conflict gets clicks. Meanwhile, the actual game gets buried.